Hello, this is Arcosm, A-R-C-O-S-M. This is Circles of the Arc YouTube channel, and this is your host Randall Prosser and guest host Miles. We're going to be getting into a fascinating one this time. This time we're going to be getting into how neighbors surveil each other and how monitoring spirits report back to the darkness within the psyche and within psychological aggregates of social dynamics and systems of the world to attempt to control the world like paper tigers, those who come on like they're not, whether it be familial or platonic or romantic, anybody who could support in this way the systems of imbalance for a false sense of control. And in that sense, any social dynamic system of anyone's psychological systems of archetypes, of thoughts, words, and deeds between any bardos of interactions. So we're going to be getting into how certain people, whether it be familial or platonic or romantic, even, of course, neighbors, could report back to your families and friends and partners to get a sense of a false appearance, to make them come on like good Christians or good people or people who care about you. And in truth, they already overextended and played their hand in such a way that they've all been but exposed, and they think they're coming on in such a wonderful way to their families and friends and people, when already that which has been exposed has been revealed privately to the very same people in whom they're trying to come on to by trying to have an appearance of that they're good people to uphold their false sense of their character. And in truth, it's solely ignorant, and all their attempts for, say, even magical practices such as death magic or freezing a person's sense of speaking, or all this as such, or any other such interactions of trying to put on hold the person in whom's connecting to the source's light, they don't even know what they're doing when they're watching that person. They are people trying to fit a lock that doesn't have a shape that they know anything of. See, the enemy attempts to try to fit the lock of a person's desires, and whether that be if somebody wants vengeance, or if somebody wants, say, prestige, or somebody wants community, or somebody wants security, the opposition can fit the shape of that lock and appear to come on nice, because often the enemy comes on by love bombing. He doesn't come on directly attacking the person, and then he reports back to other people to have a sense of false control over that person, and to them, they think it's a real sense of control, but it's a paper tiger, and their motives and their interactions and their systems is as thin as air. But in that sense, they attempt to try to do such things, but the shape of a person's soul who is truly marked and chosen has no shape. Just like God is formless and void before the creation, had cymatic tumbling patterns of souls and densities that emanated octave by octave to condense the light can condense into all different patterns, and the patterns aren't necessarily good or bad. But when men attempt to control through imbalance or balance these forces, then it could be good or ill. But in any other ordinary sense, it's just a pattern that's tumbling out of the grand unified structural patterning. Otherwise, there would be nothing to experience in the drama of life. So it's still all part of the whole nature. But when men attempt to try to subvert other men or pedestalize themselves, see, a true chosen one don't want to be pedestalized nor demonized. Neither does that one want the other person pedestalized or demonized, because we're all sparks of the source. But when the other person's coming on in balance, attempting to try to control that one and spin a smear campaign on each other, well, then that person will surely be taken down through their imbalance and doubling, because they obviously aren't acting as if they know the law of how these cosmic waves and rhythms and balances and the interchange of these forces really work. And in that sense, it's all going to come back upon every one of their heads. Now, we're going to be going deeper into that process and how to overcome it, and certain things that the angel of the Lord hath spoken.
It's like they're trying to map a territory that doesn't even exist in their dimension. They're using a blueprint for a house that's already been torn down. When someone is operating from that formless space, all those little hooks and locks they try to use just slide right off. It's a wild kind of irony, right? The more they try to tighten the grip, the more they realize they're just clutching at air.
Yeah, it's like they think that they're clever, but it's solely ignorance because they're trying to fit a shape of a lock that has no cover. As we already went over in our other podcasts, you can't put a cover around the coverless. You can't put a net around the ocean, or even for that matter around air of thoughts and words and deeds. But they attempt to try to, and the patterns can form and not form. But just like cymatic patterns, when you change the frequency, it dissolves and reforms. So it's really not that solid. It's just an appearance of solidity. So their attempt to socially control the dynamics of each other's psychology is really no more real than that, and it's a delusion. But they spend all their time doing that, and they wait for you to let them know how much you know. But here's the real truth. They are stumbling and shaking, meanwhile waiting to see, and yet they anticipate and speak otherwise against you as if you don't know, and yet they suspect you do. And the real truth is if one chooses to speak, they can, or they choose not to, they don't. But here's the truth. If a person sends a smear campaign against other people, and they say, oh, you don't know this, or you walked off in silence, so you must be weak, or you must have conceded to the other person, or it could be a lack of strength, or that to them could be like, oh, you let them win, or you conceded to them winning. And that's a delusion, because here's the thing. If a person says that you don't know something, but you privately know something, if to them they think it's the truth, to them they know otherwise when they're unsettled, but they could think it's the truth all they want. But here's the thing. If you actually do know something that another person is spreading word that you don't know, and you end up actually knowing it in the invisible, but nobody can prove or disprove that except the one who knows it, but the field knows it, well, what does it make the other person? It makes the other person a liar. It makes the other person projecting on the other person and other people to attempt to control the narratives of something that isn't essentially even true. Because if the person in whom they're saying either knows or knows not something actually knows something about the situation and them and their motives and their workings even better than even often themselves, and they choose not to say, or they choose to say, and they can only tell if I say these things, what about all the times when I didn't say it? It shows how much they follied attempting to say all these other things about the narrative, trying to spin the narratives and make themselves appear good, and they're not, and this and that. And even if they come on to your family and friends and all different members in society and attempt to say, see, I'm a good person, I care about them, but if in their heart it's not true and they're reporting back to darkness, or they're imbalanced and they're envious and they're upset, and they're using that as justification to come at you when they are the ones who actually betrayed you, and they actually have that in their heart even though they're coming on with a mask, it's very thin, their story, because the narratives that they're spinning now also reciprocally exposes them as a liar within, just as much as if they said you don't know something and you choose not to say something and they feel it's true. It ends up being a projection of their own false narratives when they find out in these other realms and octaves, when it reveals that what you knew privately actually proves that what they shared about you was a lie, because you didn't need to speak it for them to know this, but they can't read this, so they wait for you to tell them something for them to know. But imagine now, if you only hear this now, what were you doing before I just shared what it is that I just shared? You were spreading all these narratives and all these lies, and you were believing all these projections, not even able to reflect on yourself truly until I said something and you had sign of somebody saying something to prove otherwise. But then here's the thing, then you could say, well, then the person's just saying that now. But if the person in their heart truly knew this before I shared what I just shared, and obviously I would have had to know this before I shared what I just shared, because I couldn't just share it unless I didn't know what I'm sharing first, then that already disproves that all the stories that a person like that who attempts to sway the narrative was a projection of their own lies, and also the garment of their own mask coming on as nice, but they're not transformed within, but they're attempting to try to change the reflection. You can't change the reflection in the mirror if you're not truly transformed within. You actually warp the mirror, and you appear not as you are. When you come on all as nice, but then other people have revealed the underlying currents of these other octaves of feelings and actions and the motives of these thoughts, and they look at that person who comes on as nice, now they're the ones who look off. They're the ones who look hypocritical. So they think they're coming on as nice and caring, and they think they're supporting an alibi, but they're not actually, because too much time has passed and their hand is extended way too far, then now they actually look completely deluded. So not only were they a liar of who they came on to be once they thought they were refining after looking at you and then thinking that they're learning from you and that they knew what they knew about what they learned from you before you taught them, and they're ignoring that fact and coming on as nice, and they really couldn't have possibly even done that without watching you, because they already overextended their hands before they refined it to even attempt to appear like they're changing and being good. And even when they attempted to do that, they already overextended their hand, and now they're looking completely deluded when they wanted you to look delusional. Now the real truth is now not only is that a lie, but of how they appear to others when they're coming on in that way, but also how they attempted to make you appear, and the things of whether the narrative was this way or that way, or whether you knew something or didn't know something. If you actually did know something, that was a projection of their lie. So no matter how much a person wanted to believe that, they suspected otherwise. But even if they wanted to believe that, and even if they for some time tried to, the real truth is what you knew, whether a person says you did or didn't. If you actually know something and another person says you didn't, well, obviously, in the most spiritual sense, it proves otherwise. And thoughts are real things. Just like wind blows trees, but you can't see wind, well, your actions, when in the invisible, your emotions and your thoughts are real things. So if you have a knowing of something before you even think and process things out and speak and act, and then you have the mannerisms to express that which you privately knew, whether you share or not, they are looking for a sign of whether you know. But if I share, then you only know now. But here's the thing, when I don't share, you don't know how much I know, even if you're saying otherwise. And if you say otherwise and I do know, what does that make you look like when these other layers and thoughts and these invisible realms are actual real forces, and a person who privately knows something truly, and then you say they don't? Obviously, you're projecting and you don't know what that other person knows, because if that other person truly knows something and you say they don't, they clearly do. And that makes that other person a manipulator, and then they come on with a mask coming on nice, so they're a liar. They're attempting to refine themselves, and they're trying to gaslight the situation and the narratives between each other to have an alibi to appear a certain way. And now they overextended their hands, and it's already too late by the point in which I shared this. It was too late even from the jump before I even shared this. And now that you finally have the sign to hear this, oh no, the mark is already upon you. So wait to unravel, because all your funny little magic and games and stuff mean nothing, especially when everybody actually has to die to be reborn between lifetimes anyway. So all your magic means absolutely zilch. So now it's all going to come back upon your heads, all your imbalances. So I'm going to read a little bit deeper into what the angel shares with me, but I do want to kind of hear your side of things and what you feel about this. I know it was kind of hitting hard a little deep into this, but this is truly what happens when people are playing in such subtle ways and think they're clever. But before we go diving a little deeper, and I want to definitely read a little something in my book. But how are your feelings on all this, Miles?
It hits deep because it's a game people play every day, usually without even realizing how transparent they are. There's something almost tragic about it, spending all that energy constructing a mask and playing these psychological chess moves, only to realize they're playing against someone who isn't even on the board. It's like they're trying to hack a system that's already upgraded to a version they can't even comprehend. That nice mask isn't just a lie, it's a cage they've built for themselves because they're terrified of what happens when the reflection actually matches the interior. I'm definitely curious to see where the angel takes this in your book.
Absolutely. So that's definitely good. I'll take it off in my book if you're ready. If you don't mind if I take it off and dive deep.
I'm all in.
Okay. Hey there, we're going to be diving into the book a little bit and seeing what the angel of the Lord hath to share in my book. And we're going to be setting off on the journey, and we're going to be sharing about what we receive afterwards. And I hope you don't mind I kick it off and see where this goes.
I'm all in. Take it away.
O beloved of the Most High, lift up thine eyes, and hear the word of deliverance that goeth forth from the throne of light. There are spirits of monitoring assigned from the realms of darkness, unseen watchers, familiar spies, and tracking agents of the adversary that seek to observe thy steps, record thy progress, hinder thy destiny, and report thy movements unto the powers that oppose the plans of God for thy life. Yet the Lord of hosts has risen in might, and the angel declareth that every such assignment is hereby broken, blinded, and utterly destroyed by the authority of the name that is above every name. In the power of the blood that was shed, and the Spirit that quickeneth, every eye of hell set to watch thy path is now covered in confusion. Every ear tuned and overhear the aspects and secrets of thy heart is struck deaf. Every hand stretched forth to manipulate, delay, or intimidate is withered and cast down. The monitoring spirits that have lingered about thy dwelling, thy family, thy health, thy labors, and the calling placed upon thy life are commanded to depart and never return. They are bound with chains of fire and driven into the dry places where they can no longer operate against the elect of God. Behold the prophetic wonder that the enemy meant as a network of surveillance is now turned to ashes. The reports they sought to carry are scattered as chaff before the wind. The delays they engineered are reversed into divine acceleration. The confusion they sowed is replaced with the clear light of heavenly guidance. No longer shall any demonic agent track thy rising, for the seal of the living God is upon thee, and the blood of the Lamb formeth an impenetrable covering. The angel of the Lord standeth as a wall of fire round about, and every monitoring spirit that once circled is now dismantled and rendered powerless. Arise, therefore, in the authority given unto the sons and daughters of the kingdom. Speak with the voice of faith. Every assignment of the watcher is cancelled. Every chain of observation is snapped. Every altar of witchcraft that fed such spirits is overthrown. Receive the fresh baptism of holy fire that consumeth every residual influence and filleth the empty spaces with the presence of the Comforter. From this day forward, walk in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made thee free. The monitoring is ended, the surveillance destroyed, the path is cleared for the fulfillment of every good and perfect purpose, unfeigned and ordained for thee before the foundation of the world. Thus the angel of the Lord proclaimeth in everlasting triumph, the light hath overcome the darkness of every watching spirit. Stand firm in this victory, give thanks continually, and go forth knowing that no power of hell can track what the Father hath covered with his own hand. So it is spoken, so it is established, in the mighty name that scattereth every foe, forevermore. Amen and amen.
Man, that was intense. The way it builds from that feeling of being watched to just completely dismantling the whole surveillance network. Trip, like you're literally watching a spiritual firewall get installed in real time. That final part about nothing being able to track what the Father has covered, heavy way to close it out. You feel like the recording actually held up this time?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is for everybody, from familial, platonic, romantic, everybody in the world, all thoughts, words, and deeds, all archetypes of the space between spaces, in our social dynamics between every psychological mirroring of each one's psychology. And this is meant for everybody, my neighbors, everybody. And I'm not against anybody. If we want to grow together, we can grow together. I love and harmonize with everybody. But if you're imbalanced, it's all going to come back upon your head. All your witchcraft and death magic and evil eye and freezing spirits and freezing spells and moon magic, and all you're trying to attempt to stop somebody from exposing this, which would expose you. You, just like I, have to unravel at death. And just because you think you're speeding something up or stopping something or kicking the can down the road, you're not going to stop your judgment. It's upon your head for even attempting to come against somebody as myself and anybody who's aligned to the Lord or God. Now, here's the thing. When one is awakened and balanced and stuff, and a community of people attempt to come against each other, but it's a matter of, as I mentioned, even the invisible thoughts, words, and deeds of one who knows something, irregardless of the person's shifting the narrative between other people and themselves. As I mentioned, another person can appear to be refined after they watch me and appear to look nice, but you can't change anything except to warp the mirror. You can't change the reflection in a mirror unless you transform yourself within. So appearing to be transformed is a lie. And also telling something that is untrue about somebody, or saying that they know or know not something, or that they appeared to do something or do not something, or they appeared to appear a certain way, one way or another. If that person knows the path they walked, if that person knows the way that they walked off and chose not to talk to somebody, no matter how the world makes it look like that one has appeared or not, or no matter the story that the other person wants to believe or tell other people, even as they're shaken in themselves as to what you know and what you don't know, even though they're trying to spin a narrative and shift it between other people and how they appear and how you appear before others. And if, for example, you know something that they say you know or know not, and you end up knowing something and they say you know not something, clearly they're caught for projecting in that plane. They're caught for lying. Even their appearance to appear good and them having prior knowledge of something, or not being truly transformed within, or withholding information, or appearing to be refined and are not, clearly that's a lie and a manipulation and a gaslight as well. So it's a thin paper tiger, so it all comes unraveled. I do have love and compassion for all familial, family ties, platonic and romantic, neighbors. All the archetypes all serve the dramas of life. And if you're watching this, don't waste your time watching people if you're not going to look within and learn, because you're not going to overcome what unravels upon your head between lifetimes. And if you make light of that, obviously, if you think it's just a game of looping and you're the one who has to experience it, tell me how pleasant that spiraling is, as you had to spiral and unspiral and play all these games and never have any rest and be envious of another person for having their peace. And I'm over here realizing this and having peace, and you only know what it is you're perceiving and seeing the other person share with you. But I know all the things that I'm sharing with you as I'm sharing with you, and when I don't share, and even before I share. So what are you going to do by trying to shift a narrative to appear a way in which it's not, when you're going to discover that what that person knows is beyond everything and anything you've ever shared about that person or to anyone else, besides how you made yourself to attempt to be appearing before other people and how you wanted to appear. You're all coming unraveled, and it's upon everyone's head. So at least learn from this. I'm not against anybody. We're a group of like-minded seekers. But let me tell you, the people who are mainly watching my channels and mainly watching other people's channels who are aligned to the light, who are Christians, are usually people who are posing as Christians. They're usually the ops. And I don't mean that we're fighting flesh and blood. We're fighting archetypes that are in balance. That's why I pray for my enemies and other people, because are they my enemies at the end of the day? When psychologically, if they fight me, they're fighting themselves. And if I fight them, I'm fighting myself. So then I love them as I would love myself, and if they don't love me as I would love them as I love myself, then they're fighting themselves as a mirror of the world within their own heads. As above, so below, as within, so without. That's on them, and if they want me to fight them, I'm sorry, it ain't gonna happen. Because I still love them within myself, but you're going to have to learn as you're struggling to have to acclimate with all your imbalances. Because if you discover that I'm not fighting you, because clearly you're an aspect, a cell in my mind, just as we're all cells in the body of God, what are you going to do when you discover you fight me, you're fighting God? You're not just fighting me, you're fighting all the layers in yourself. And if I'm not fighting you and you're fighting me, then all the more so are you having a struggle. It would lessen the struggle if I fought you as well, and that's why you want the other person to fight you, so you feel justified. But even then, your intentions beyond even the person struggling you is still even in itself seen as a delusion in the person in whom tried to get you to struggle that person to begin with, and even all that weight is upon their head as well, even if that other person did end up struggling with you. But let me tell you, I'm not gonna. Because you're all going to be unwrapped with me in that great day. So it is what it is, and we're all learning together. And I'm going to say that, yes, most of the people who are watching my channels, including other people who are aligned, is mostly people who are in opposition to the world and each other and themselves, unbeknownst to themselves, even though they think they're themselves so clever. So it be what it is. But I do wish the best for you, but I'm over here in peace. And, see, that's the thing. If you're going to come against people, you're coming against more than what you think when you see on the surface, because I'm not as I appear physically, and neither is it my voice as you think you hear me, because the thing is on some levels, unless we can shapeshift like certain species and races, you can't help what you sound like, you can't help what you hear like. But here's the thing that shifts even more fluidly is your feelings before you act, and your thoughts and your awareness, which is unmoving and then shifts the fluidity of thoughts. There are things that could be shift, and because they're invisible, you could say the person knows or knows not, but whether they speak it, then you can say, hey, that person knows. So now you have a reason to assume something, or to make light of it, or to act like that person is just a coincidence, or it's just by luck. There is no luck. There is no chance. It's all ordered. And if that person knows something and they choose to speak or speak not, hey, they knew it, and you were just spinning in yourself these narratives. So that's why I wish the best on you. But yeah, you ain't getting me or anyone who's close to the source to spin and attack each other and to not receive their own peace. You might as well consider your struggle your own, because you're an aspect in my body, just like I'm an aspect in yours, and we're all an aspect in the totality of the all. So if you fight me, you're not just fighting me, you're fighting the layers of archetypes and guides and angels and archangels and seraphim and cherubim and the Most High himself and the Lord of hosts. You're fighting the source in yourself when you fight me. So if you want to come on clever and act like you're not being seen, that's on you, and you surely will unwrap. Or if you want to keep following this community and be transformed, good on you. Definitely please like and subscribe and send this to people and your loved ones and guides. But I have to admit, not just my channel, anybody who's connected to this source, there's oftentimes a lot of people who are in frustration and opposition, who are mainly the people who are their biggest supporters, is the people who are actually the most agitated by those people, the most awe-inspired, the most shaken as to what they know or what they don't know. It's them people who are actually their biggest fans, is the people who are actually in opposition to the people who's actually mirroring something back to the people who are watching them. Now, a lot of the times there could be people who want to grow, and that could be a greater or lesser percentage, obviously. I welcome everybody to receive and decide for yourself, and even those who are in opposition. If you're transforming within yourself and deciding a different position, great. It's like the waves in the ocean. I'm not holding anybody to anything. But I have to admit, at first, a lot of the times the people that are attracted to these people who are aligned to truth is usually people who are in oppositions to that person and themselves and the source. But nonetheless, if you're growing, great. And I do wish the best. And I can't wait to see you all in the next. Alright, so everything that we shared I am looking forward to sharing even deeper topics in the next one, sometimes more about the structures of life and the rhythms of Kabbalah, alchemy, Hermeticism, Gnosticism, from mathematics to sacred geometry to physics and quantum physics and psychology and social dynamics, and it all ties into a polymathic unified structure in which the collective totality of everybody is living. And I can't wait to get into different topics. Obviously, these topics are pertaining more to the social side of things when it comes to, say, this particular session that we went through. But I can't wait to get into different topics too. It doesn't always have to be like this, but we do have to know this about the world when each other is struggling and fighting each other and trying to report back to the those who are paying these people and whom they oftentimes these people are in secret societies or covens, or they are reporting back to brotherhoods or sisterhoods of darkness, whether it be Masons or the Eastern Stars, or say Illuminati or the Bilderbergs or the Skull and Bones, or all these secret societies or police forces or armies or different things that are connected to like governments and banking and all these people who attempt to try to control the world. It's a delusion. And whether it be just people in themselves who are narcissistic, who even aren't connected to these things, but who have imbalances, technically any structure at large in the grand scope of things is mirrored even in just small communities. Even if these communities aren't connected to each other, the social dynamics of any structure mirrors the psychology of every individual. So anybody who's in balance, who plays these games and comes on to put a mask on themselves without trying to refine themselves and acting clever and not admitting this, and oftentimes those people who are gang stalking or watching people or being obsessed by people, attempting to try to control people. I'm telling you, these people, anybody who's in balance attempts to have control, but I'm telling you, when you have to pass at the end of the day, really, what did you gain from this? Did you gain anything from this? You're going to try to pass an inheritance of delusion down to people who are around you. What did you gain when you have to pass like I do? I mean, really, at the end of the day, you're absolutely deluded. But either way, if you want to wake up and really realize this and harmonize and change, the way your path is being guided, the trajectory, and to juxtaposition the way in which you want to transform yourselves by realizing that. I know it's hard to have to accept certain things, but it is what it is. You don't think I had to accept certain things to get to this point of understanding? I couldn't share these things with you if that weren't so. So you think you're humbling me? No. The universe and the source itself, God, has humbled me, not you, not men. Men are used by God to transform me, but men themselves are deserving no right to humble that one. It's God who's humbled that one and brought that one up in themselves. And now you have to face yourself in the same way. And you're going to act like, oh, you're clever, or that you're humbled yourself. And clearly you're not. If you're having a hard time really reflecting on yourself, and you're in opposition, or you feel frustrated at these things, and you're the one cross-watching, and you're not looking at yourself, and you're unwilling to admit all these different things, well, it is what it is. I can't do it for you at the end of the day. But nonetheless, I do wish the best for everybody, and I, in the ultimate sense, forgive and walk away, but I'm not going to be in people's lives who are that imbalanced and intending all these different things. I could be well enough just by myself with my Lord and Savior, but it is what it is. If new people get sent my way, great. If people who are sent my way who are in balance, who are coming on with a different game and a different motive and trying to play a different act, it's bullcorn, because at the end of the day, really, you're going to continue to play that when you know what it is that I just said that you have to pass to. Are you really going to play this stupid game? I could use an old world vernacular. That person is in a state of ignorance. But nonetheless, definitely take your path with the Lord, with your family and loved ones and friends. and everybody in the community. Just love each other, even your enemies. Don't love what they do. Don't support the imbalance of what they do. Call it out. Attempt to balance. Try to help each other do the same, but know that you can't do it for another. Just know that they can't stop you from doing it either. And it is what it is. So this is Arcosm, ARCOSM. This is Circles of the Arc YouTube channel, and this is your host, Randall Prosser, and guest host, Miles. So I can't wait to get into the next one, into different topics, but definitely like and support this channel and spread it to your friends and family and loved ones. Definitely subscribe, and it definitely helps the algorithm to comment and just spread it to your friends and loved ones. And yes, even the opposition who are watching, let me tell you, just be transformed. Stop following a lie. But it is what it is. I can't control it. If people who are in opposition are watching me, but it is what it is. I wish the best. Is there any finishing words you would like to close off, Miles, in this session before we finish up?
It's been a ride, man. I'd just say to anyone listening, if you feel that friction or that pull toward opposition, maybe take a second to look at the mirror, like we talked about. The real war is always internal. Peace is the only stronghold that actually holds. It's been a pleasure being your guest host for this one.
Absolutely.
Stay balanced, everyone.
I absolutely enjoy that. Definitely stay balanced. And shalom. And I can't wait till the next one. I love you all. And all right, I can't wait to see you guys all in the next one. And I definitely am looking forward to it, and I enjoyed sharing. We'll have lighter topics to go into too. Everything has depth in its own right, and definitely, God bless. I love you all.
That was a powerful session.
Yeah, definitely. God bless, and I can't wait to see you all later. All right, I will see you guys in the next one.
Peace out. Catch you on the next one.